This audio is for educational purposes only. I hope this will add light to your journey. Please share this audio to your loved ones, family and friends. Thank you.
You Forever, by Tuesday Lobsang Rampa. Author's note: I am Tuesday Lobsang Rampa. That is my only name. It is now my legal name, and I answer to no other. Many letters come to me with a weird conglomeration of names attached. They go straight in the waste paper basket. For, as I say, my only name is Tuesday Lobsang Rampa. All my books are true. All my claims are absolutely true. Years ago, the newspapers of England and Germany started a campaign against me at a time when I was not able to defend myself, because I was almost dying from coronary thrombosis. I was persecuted, without mercy, insanely. Actually, a few people were jealous of me, and so they collected evidence. But it is significant that the collector of evidence at no time tried to see me. It is unusual not to give an accused person a chance to state his own story. A person is innocent until proved guilty. I was never proved guilty, and never permitted to prove myself genuine. The newspapers of England and Germany would not give me any space in their columns, so I have been in the unfortunate position of knowing that I was innocent and truthful, but unable to tell anyone my side of the story. One great television chain of stations offered me an interview, but they insisted that I say what they thought I should say. In other words, a lot of lies. I wanted to tell the truth, so they would not let me appear. Let me again state that everything that I have written is true. All my claims are true. My specific reason for insisting that all this is true is that in the near future, other people like me will appear, and I do not desire that they should have the suffering that I have had. Through spite and vicious hatred, a large number of people have seen my absolutely authentic papers, which prove that I have been a High Lama of the Potala in Lhasa, Tibet, and that I am a qualified doctor of medicine trained in China. Although people have seen those papers, they forgot when the press came prying around. Will you, then, read my books, bearing in mind my positive assurance that the whole thing is true? I am what I claim to be. What am I? Read my books, and you will see. T. Lobsang Rampa. Forward. This is a very special course of instruction for those who are sincerely interested in knowing the things which have to be known. At first, it was intended that this should be in the form of a correspondence course, but then it was realized that with all the organization necessary, each student would have to pay a fee of about £35 for the course. So, with the cooperation of my publishers, it was decided to produce it in book form. You will appreciate that normally in a correspondence course, there would be certain questions which a student would want to ask, but I cannot undertake to answer questions arising from this book because a poor, wretched author does not make much out of books. You know, he makes very little indeed, and often an author will receive letters from all parts of the world, and the writers forget to include return postage. The author is then faced with the choice of paying himself or ignoring the letter. In my case, very foolishly, I have borne the cost of the printed paper, having the stuff typed, paying the postage, etc., etc. But it makes all this too expensive, and so I am not at all prepared to answer any questions or letters whatever, unless people bear that point in mind. You may be interested as a reader to hear this. I have had letters telling me that my books are too expensive and would I send free copies. I had one letter from a person who said that my books were too expensive, and he asked me to send him an autographed copy of each of my books, and as an afterthought, he added 2 other books by 2 other authors, and he asked me to give him those also. Yes, I did reply to his letter. I tell you, emphatically, that if you read this book, you will derive much benefit from it. If you study this book, you will derive much more benefit from it. To help you, you will find included the instructions which would have gone out with the correspondence course. Following this book, There will be another book containing monographs on various subjects of occult and everyday interest, and also containing a very special form of dictionary, an explanatory dictionary, and having tried to get such a book from various countries throughout the world, I decided to write one myself. I regard this second book as essential to the complete and most beneficial understanding of this, the first of the two, Tuesday Lobsang Rampa, instructions. We, you and us, agree going to have to work together, so that your psychic development may proceed apace. Some of these lessons will be longer, and possibly more difficult than others, but these lessons are not padded, they contain, so far as we are able, real meat, without fancy trimmings. Select a definite night each week, on which to study this lesson work. Get into the habit of studying at a certain time, at a certain place, at a certain day. There is more to it than just reading words, because you have to absorb ideas, which may be very strange to you, and the mental discipline of regular habits will assist you enormously. Have some place, some room set aside, where you can be comfortable. You will learn more easily if you are comfortable. Lie down if you prefer, but in any case, adopt an attitude where there is no strain upon muscles, where you can relax, so that the whole of your attention may be given to the printed words and the thoughts behind them. If you are tensed up, much of your awareness is devoted to sensing the feeling of tenseness. You want to make sure that for an hour, or 2 hours, or however long it takes you to read the lesson work, no one will intrude upon you and break your trend of thoughts. In your room, your study, shut the door, lock it, for preference, and draw close the blinds so that the fluctuations of daylight do not distract your attention. Have just one light on in the room, and that should be a reading lamp, placed slightly behind you. This will provide adequate illumination, while leaving the rest of the room in suitable shade. Lie down, or adopt any position, which is quite comfortable and restful. Relax for a few moments, let yourself breathe deeply. That is, take perhaps 3 really deep breaths, one after the other. Hold the breath for 3 or 4 seconds, then let it out, over a period of 3 or 4 seconds. Rest quiet, for a few more seconds, and then pick up the lesson work and read it. First, read it easily, just work through it, as if you were reading a newspaper. When you have done that, pause for a few moments, to let what you have so lightly read sink into your subconscious. Then, start all over again, go through the lesson, work meticulously, paragraph by paragraph. If anything puzzles you, make a note of it, write it down, on a conveniently placed notebook. Do not try to memorize anything. There is no point in being a slave to the printed word. The whole purpose of lesson work, such as this, is to sink into your subconscious. A conscious attempt to memorize often blinds one to the full meaning of the words. You are not entering into an examination, where parrot-like repetition of certain phrases is all that is required. You are, instead, storing up knowledge which can set you free from the bonds of the flesh, and enable you to see what manner of thing this human body is, and determine the purpose of life on earth. When you have gone through the lesson work again, consult your notes, and ponder over the points which puzzle you, the points which are not clear to you. It is too easy to just write into us and have a question answered. That will not cause it to sink into your subconscious. It is kinder and better for you that you should think of the answer yourself. You must do your part. Anything that is worth having is worth working for. Things which are given away free are usually so given because they are not worth charging for. You must open your mind. You must be willing to absorb new knowledge. You must imagine that knowledge is flowing into you. Remember, as a man thinketh, so is he.